Okay, hey everybody, it's J-Man here with Steve and Sean. Steve to the bottom, Sean on the top. This is something that I've been wanting to talk about. People have actually asked me to talk about it, which is Doctor Who. Now, we're going to do like a super very quick thing. I am a super major Doctor Who fanatic. I've met the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 11th, 12th Doctor. I've met some of the companions. I've met like Catherine Tate. I've met Karen Gillan. I met John Barrowman. I've met what's her name? Michelle Gomez. Steve, you've met Michelle Gomez. So Steve, you've watched all of New Who, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sean, you've seen quite a bit of classic Who and some of New Who, or?
Yeah, quite a bit of classic Who when I was a kid.
Yep.
I don't know much about the lore, more than like you guys know a lot more about it than me. And I watched the first season of the new Doctor Who, and then I sort of just didn't watch anymore.
Okay. So
I don't commit to anything. So
right. Okay. So I love Doctor Who. We're just gonna get right into it. Has Doctor Who failed in the last little bit? I'm gonna say hell yeah, it failed big time. And it's failed in such a disastrous way because the Doctor Who fans are the most forgiving fans, because Doctor Who has changed with every Doctor. In some cases drastically, in some cases the Doctor has changed, in some cases the Doctor and companion has changed at the same time, in some cases the production team and the showrunners have completely changed. Even the music has sometimes, like the music composer has changed. So you can literally be a Doctor Who fan and say, William Hartnell is the Doctor, and after that, it's garbage. It's all BS. William Hartnell's the only Doctor. After that ended, it's over. So you could say that, or you have to accept the fact that the Doctor regenerates when new actors come in and blah, blah, blah. So I am leading this conversation a little bit, but I'm going to get to you guys in just a sec. The thing is that every time there's a new Doctor, people are apprehensive. We don't know what's going to happen, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so the gender swap. I'm just going to get right to it. I do not like it. I think it's a bad idea. However, I'm a Doctor Who fan. I am willing to accept change. So to that end, when we heard that they were going to change the gender of the Doctor and Jodie Whittaker was going to play the new Doctor 13, I thought, well, that's kind of dumb. I know it's like a PC angle or whatever. Let's see. And I'll tell you right now, my wife and I love Doctor Who. She's a fanatic too. We watched the, I don't know if it was San Diego or whatever Comic-Con, where Chris Chibnall, who took over as showrunner from Moffat, him and Jodie and other people were there talking about it. And Jodie won me over. She's a good actress. I saw her in Broadchurch all seasons. She's a good actress. She's quite attractive actually too. I liked her. I liked her enthusiasm. She seemed very excited. It's like, yeah, I'm the Doctor. I was like, okay. However, during that same thing, Chris Chibnall was like, well, we're not going to have any classic monsters and I'm doing my own thing. And I thought, oh, that's not good. Like, you're not going to have the classic monsters. If we go back to when RTD, Russell T Davies, took over and brought it back with Eccleston, they literally said, the Daleks, well, what are you going to do? You're going to make them look better, aren't you? He's like, hell no, the Daleks are perfect. I'm keeping them exactly the same. I'm like, exactly. The Cybermen evolve. So those guys can keep evolving because they always evolve into a better form. They got a little bit too much like Iron Man towards the last bit. I kind of thought that they went too far Iron Man, but whatever. But yeah, now the Master had already been gender swapped. The Master became Missy, and I didn't like that idea either, but Michelle Gomez was so awesome. She should have played the Ronnie. Sean, I don't know if you remember the Ronnie. She was an evil Time Lord, like a Time Lady. She should have played the Ronnie and she would have been perfect for that role. She didn't. She wasn't the Ronnie, she was the Master. So we already accepted that. I think the people going out there saying, oh, these misogynist men, these a-holes, these stupid guys, these stupid losers can't accept a female Doctor. Maybe that's true, but maybe it's not. I don't think it's as bad as they were saying. I think people are just like, this is a lot of change happening right now, and it doesn't seem like it's an organic change. It seems like we're changing it because we need to push our agendas. However, I'm okay with that. You want to push your agenda. Sci-fi is where you tell your stories, you do your, like social commentaries and all that, but you do them well. And Doctor Who has not done it well. in the
Right.
last 2 seasons. So
Yep.
the stories have been very, very generic. It's like Rosa Parks. They did the Rosa Parks thing. It's like, okay, everyone thinks Rosa Parks is great. I don't think there's someone out there who doesn't like Rosa Parks or the fact that she stood up and made some change and stood up for herself. So everyone likes Rosa Parks. So what did they add to that story? Nothing. It's Rosa Parks on the bus. And you're like, oh, okay. And there's this time traveling guy who was going around sort of like meddling with stuff. I didn't know if it was going to be the monk. There was the time meddling monk. I thought, is it going to be him? Like, what is this? That entire storyline was dropped.
Yeah.
Chris Chibnall is a drama writer. He is not a science fiction writer. Everything he did led to a dramatic point, like he did the partitions, right? Like with India and all that. It's like, okay, well, what are you going to add to this? Okay, I'm getting. You guys will be talking in a minute. Just let me get all this out. Okay, which is fine. I still accept it. I'm like, okay, it's Doctor Who, history. They always do history lessons. I'm okay. I'm okay. They treat Graham very poorly. He's a great character, but he's the old white guy, so they always make fun of him. It's like, okay, fine. I ignored it. I'm like, it's fine. We get into the last season. I'm like, okay, where are we going with this? They introduced the Cyberman, the lone Cyberman, who was an amazing character, very good storyline leading up to what he was going to do. They introduced the Master, and that was Sacha Dhawan, I think was the guy.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he's so good. I was like, this guy's great. I'm like, okay, I think Doctor Who is getting better. It's getting back. And then they're like, oh yeah, Jodie is not the 13th Doctor. There's 4,000 Doctors before her. This is the origin of Doctor. He's like this child who was experimented on by this Gallifreyan who felt bad for the child and rescued the child, but then allowed the child to die and then killed the child 100 times over while stealing the child's regenerative abilities and then giving it to her and the other Time Lords. And it's like, okay, so it's not called Doctor Who anymore because we've answered the question. Oh, so Sean, you don't know this?
So,
this is the storyline.
Yeah, you told me they changed it up, but I don't know. So the other Time Lords are Time Lords because of Doctor Who?
Yes. What a fail.
Doctor Who was a baby? Okay.
No, so Doctor Who was a child.
Don't explain the mysterious. Just keep moving on. It's been how long? 40 years plus
50,
or something.
50 plus.
50 years.
50 years. 55 maybe. Is it 55 now? It's getting close.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Doctor Who has now become answered. We know. And there's a season of Matt Smith. There's a thing at the end where the headless monk was saying there's the question that can never be answered. He's like, Doctor Who. And you're like, no, we've answered it. It's like, it was this timeless child who was just experimented on. I'm thinking, is this the dumbest? Okay, rule number 1 in science fiction geek culture. Rule number 1, don't rewrite history. Don't go back and change things. Star Trek keeps making this failed attempt to do it. Let's go back and show how Kirk started. Let's show Spock's. Let's show Pike. No, let's show something new. Doctor Who was the most progressive in the sense that it always moved forward. And some people didn't want Jodie. I'm okay with that. If you don't want to watch anymore, no problem. But I was willing to accept it. In fact, I like Jodie. I have her action figure and her sonic screwdriver on my thing. So Jodie is not the problem. Unfortunately, she has to toe the line and pretend like everything's great, even though she knows probably deep down that it's horseshit. And it's like, I don't know how they're going to come back from this. I could easily rewrite this and say the Master was screwing with her brain and all of this was fake. That's the only way I can see out of this. But yeah, so that I've gotten everything. It's like I've been dying to like pour this out. It's like, and here's what's going to happen is that they're going to be like, well, here's another white guy who can't accept it. No, I can accept. For the record, I can accept change. I can accept the gender swap. I don't really like the gender swap, but Jodie sold me on her character. I feel that the stories were very weak, very generic, and no powerful conclusion, and they rewrote the Doctor's history. Even if they added something to the history, okay, but don't rewrite before William Hartnell, because that's just a disrespect to the creators, who is a woman too, and the Indian guy was the first guy who made the first series too. Like, I don't understand. They're like, oh, we have to make sure that, we're getting women their thing. Verity Lambert was the friggin' first thing in Doctor Who, man. It's her thing. it's so brutal. Anyways, it's like, so no, I'm not against females and all that. And they had strong women throughout all of Doctor Who. Doctor Who had the most, and Captain Jack Harkness, who is pansexual, they didn't announce.
Yeah.
They didn't announce he was going to be pansexual. They just had him be like that in the show. John Barrowman is a very exciting person to meet in real life. Steve, you've met John Barrowman.
Yeah.
Very exciting person to meet in real life. Super positive energy. Great. And he's not a great spokesperson for gay rights. He's a great spokesperson for everybody. He's just a good person. And in that show of Doctor Who, they made Captain Jack Harkness a great character, someone to relate to. I wanted to cosplay as Captain Jack. I honestly did. I was looking into getting the shirt and the suspenders and the coat and all that. And I'm a straight white guy. So I'm willing to play a pansexual character because the character is that good. Mm-hmm. It's like, I don't care about the orientation or the gender. I care about, is this character good and can I get pumped up for him? Bill, black lesbian character. I don't know if she was the first. I thought she was fantastic.
Yeah.
I loved her. I loved her more than Clara. I was like, she's better. I'm like, she's so great. So yeah, Doctor Who has always been progressive, but it's told good stories. And when they've done social commentary, they've done it well. Mm-hmm. It's like, you know, the one with the fish people versus the army that kept fighting each other for generations. They're like, why are we even fighting? You know?
Yeah.
It's like, they do it and they do it well. Just like Star Trek used to do it well. Just like, you know, like all these shows used to do it well until now. I don't know. Okay, Steve, go ahead. You said nothing. Sorry.
That's okay. I was thinking about this afternoon, and what I feel is that they basically have like a PSA, and then they write a story around it.
Yep.
Right? They don't actually write a story and let it sort of speak for itself, right? Like it's bludgeoning you in the head. Throwing the plastic in the ocean was by far the worst example of that, and possibly the spider one.
The spider one, I'm going to get to that.
Yeah, both were pretty bad. Like, I have 2 sonic screwdrivers on my shelf. I have River Songs.
Oh, she's a great female, strong character, unique, awesome, kick ass. Yep.
And Alex Kingston plays her beautifully.
She's great.
Yeah, she's awesome. And I have Jodie's. Those are the 2 I have. I like Jodie Whittaker as a doctor.
Me too.
I don't like what she does.
Jodie Whittaker is carrying this. I'm only sticking on because I like her.
Yeah.
It's like, I can't stand the writing. You know, it's very bad. And now, Sean, you haven't seen that there was an episode where there was these giant spiders, and it was an anti-gun thing because they had these guns and they were shooting them down. First of all, I watched a Matt Smith episode on the weekend. We occasionally throw in some classic Who every so often. Every week we throw one in just randomly. And it was one with the Weeping Angels where they're in those caves or whatever.
Yep.
And the doctor's using guns and stuff. And it's like, the angels are stone and they're going to steal your time and they're going to kill you. Like, it's like, yeah, I'm going to shoot them if I need to. So anyways, so Jodie went on this rant about anti-gun and all that. And there was a guy that looked like a Donald Trump character. God, I hope Trump doesn't get elected because I'm tired of him. I'm tired of everything being a reaction to him. It's like, he sucks. Get over it. Get someone else in. Anyways, so they had this Trump guy and he was all pro-gun. And I'm like, well, I'm sorry. If there's a giant spider who's non-sentient, they're just creatures eating and devouring. If a giant spider is running after me, I'm going to shoot it with my machine gun if I have one. I don't own a gun. This was a very poor anti-gun message because like giant spiders is something that nobody likes. They should have made it like giant turtles or something. I don't know, like, or giant bunny rabbits. Like, why would you do that? It was so stupid. And then they're like, so they didn't shoot the spiders. What they did was they trapped them in this thing and they slowly died. And I'm like thinking, you'd rather have them painfully slowly die out than just shoot them all down? Like, I don't know what's going on here. And it was almost as bad as to turn to the camera and be like, guns are bad. If you use guns, you're a Trump supporter. And if you're a Trump supporter, you're terrible. Guns are evil. Ha ha ha. It's like, seriously?
I know, but they're not giving you an alternative. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's another episode of David Tennant where the Sycorax were leaving. Remember they were leaving, and Harriet Jones, the actress from Downton, and Marigold and Best Exotic Marigold Hotel. Can't remember her name. She guns them down as they're leaving. She blows up the ship, and the doctor's like, what the hell are you doing? You blew up. And she's like, doctor, you don't live on Earth.
Yeah.
You're not here 24/7. I've got to protect the planet. And
Yep.
I'm sorry, but an alien tried to invade and kill us all. So
Yep.
if I'm going to take the shot, I'm going to take the shot.
Take the shot. Yeah.
They did this with the Silurians in a John Pertwee, the first appearance of the Silurians. Very classic Doctor Who, great episode. It's a little long, but it's very great. And same thing, Brigadier nails the Silurians, and the Doctor's like, "My God, what are you doing, man?" And he's like, "Doctor, I'm sorry, but we can't fucking screw around here." Like,
Yeah.
and it's like, exactly. Sometimes things got to be done. And the Doctor himself killed all of the Daleks and the Time Lords. Like, so who is he talking about, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's like,
Yeah.
I
was
don't
going to bring
know.
that up, the Time War, yeah.
The Time War, which was not 400 years ago. It's like, oh, you idiots and your classic Who and the wobbly sets. It's like, we only care about New Who. Okay, well, in New Who, what's it called? Matt Smith used a gun. Literally, in the last one I saw, he shot this thing. He didn't shoot a person, but he shot up. He was an anti-soldier. In fact, the soldier, the guy's dying from a weeping angel who's got him trapped around his neck. And he's like, I wish I had known you better. You seem like a good man. It's like, well, that's a soldier. You shouldn't, And in that episode, the soldiers were called clerics and bishops. And they're like, they're bishops? He's like, well, the church has, come a long way in the future or something. So it's kind of, and I thought, see, that's interesting. It's like the church has become so militant that it's literally military. That's an interesting concept that makes you think a little bit about, not turning to the camera. Plastic is bad. Plastic is in the oceans. It's terrible. It's like your toys are made of plastic. Like,
yeah. It's bad. It's insulting.
It's
really insulting because you're sitting there and it's like plastic in the ocean is bad. Thanks. I wasted 42 minutes of my life for you to tell me something I knew walking in. That's the thing. They state the obvious, right? Racism is bad. Guns, shooting people randomly are bad. Oh God, thank you for the PSA. Yeah. I know all this. Yeah. Unless you're
There's
demographic.
Nothing clever about it.
There's nothing clever about it. No, it's just literally they're literally writing to the lowest possible intelligence.
Yep.
3-year-olds maybe wouldn't get this.
So let me ask a question. So this whole origin story thing, was there a dramatic conclusion or a dramatic purpose to it? They reveal this. Does it tie into the story in which they reveal it?
No.
Well,
then it poses some sort of moral dilemma then or something? Or?
No. So basically, there's the timeless child, and Jodie's aware of this thing, and she meets Ruth, who is another doctor, but they don't recognize each other. So it's like there's been doctors before William Hartnell or whatever, and their memories have been wiped. So they've just lost all their memories. And Jodie doesn't know all of this. And the thing is that the conclusion that what it was building towards in the second season of Jodie's was actually very good. Mostly it was good. And when they introduced the lone Cyberman, he was this guy who was doing all this weird stuff. It's like it was sort of like a Borg, but he's not connected exactly to the whole, he's kind of doing his own little side missions, and you're thinking, what is this leading up to? And then the Master comes in and literally takes over the lone Cyberman and kills them. And you're like, I just watched 2 episodes of building up this villain. And he kills all the Time Lords and turns them into Cybermen. How do you kill Time Lords? I have no idea, because they keep regenerating. He killed them all so that they couldn't regenerate anymore. But then he gave them Cyberman bodies, which could regenerate. But if you killed them all and they can't regenerate, how are you giving their regeneration to Cybermen? That's not explained. But he says, why am I doing this? Because of you, Doctor. It's because of you that we all have our regeneration abilities, and I despise being linked in any way to you. And I thought, this better not be it. There better be something going down here. And that's it. It was the most disappointing conclusion. Yeah. And people are upset over Star Wars. Okay. I mean, yeah, but Star Wars doesn't have, this has 50 plus years of great time. Look, it's up and down. You watch there's going to, pound for pound or episode per episode, you're going to find a Tom Baker episode and be like, yeah, that was all right. Tom Baker, had some great episodes, and there was a few that weren't, you know, as good. Peter Davison had a lot of great ones, actually, quite a few great ones.
Yeah.
And, you know, but again, up and down. Everything's up and down. It's a show of 50 plus years. There's going to be ups and downs. But this was a down, and it was a down for no reason. I don't see why they even had to do it, and they didn't have to. They weren't going to get viewers back. It baffles me to think, like, if they do a female doctor, they know they're going to lose some people, because there are people out there who are going to say, I'm not going to watch a female doctor.
Yeah.
That's a statement of fact.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot escape that. There could be someone who's like, I don't want Rey, I don't want a female lead in Star Wars. And there's people like that. And unfortunately, they're done. Now, for the rest of us that stick it through, give us a reward for sticking it through and say, look, you stuck through with this female doctor. She's going to be amazing. And you know how you make her amazing? By firstly not undermining the other doctors, because she's like, oh, I've got an upgrade. She said that line. It really irked me. He's like, oh, the doctor's a man. She's like, I've got an upgrade. It's like, well, what are you talking about? You're not better than Tom Baker. Like, are you crazy?
Yeah. I don't know why they have to be antagonistic every time they do a female angle. It's like, you can do it without being antagonistic. I don't understand the attitude and the crotch chopping, man.
So there's a River Song, the Weeping Angels one, River Song is in it, and she's very prominent. And she comes in, and the doctor rescues her, and she starts operating the TARDIS. She's running around doing the knobs and doing the switches, and the doctor's sitting there, Matt Smith is sitting there, and Amy, Karen Gillan, is like, how does this woman know how to operate the TARDIS? What's going on? And she's like, doctor, do this. And then she's like, okay, we've landed. And then the doctor's like, we've landed, but it didn't make the TARDIS noise. Like, it didn't make that. She's like, that's the brakes. She's like, you never know how to land it properly. Okay? So now, if you stopped right there, that's making River Song look better than the doctor, and it makes the doctor look stupid. Except, she's like, oh, where are we? And she starts looking at the screen, and she starts reading it. She's like, okay, atmosphere. She's checking the screen, and the doctor is standing at the entrance. He's like, we're on this planet. This is the atmosphere. It's safe to go here. It's safe to do this. You could do this. And it's like, he knows. And it's like, exactly. The doctor is still the best. He knows what's going on, and he's having a little bit of fun. But it makes River Song look good because she looks very smart, but it doesn't make the doctor look bad either. If everyone is smart, it's like the Wonder Woman movie. Steve Trevor was he was a skillful soldier. He's a good-hearted man. He's a trustworthy guy. The team that he gets together, that was a great thing. And it's like, yeah, and Wonder Woman looks better because everyone is good. Steve Trevor is a good person, and she's a good person. So together, they're both awesome. And Wonder Woman looks even better. If Steve Trevor was a complete loser and a schmuck, just to make Wonder Woman look better, you'd be like, oh, okay, but that's not a comparison.
Yeah, I don't know why you would want to spend the time writing a character and creating a character just to undermine that character, right? Yeah. And like, it's just so disappointing because there's so many good episodes of Doctor Who. I'm talking about New Who. I have seen some of the old. I've seen at least one episode from every Doctor. I've seen Paul McGann, right? I saw the movie. So there's always like, you're right. There's always an episode for anything where it's like, nah, you know, like that was okay. It wasn't like great. Right. But like, there's been so many great, like one that comes to mind is Matt Smith, the doctor's wife, where the TARDIS becomes
that was awesome.
A woman, right? Like, and she's with him. And like, I throw that episode in more than any Matt Smith ones. Because I really like that entire episode.
Yeah.
You know, I really like the episode where Matt Smith at the end where you go to the doctor's grave and it's this huge TARDIS. Yeah. And it's like, what did you expect? Like, there's no body. It's just a timeline. Like, there's a rip in time. Like, there's so many great stories with Doctor Who. For them to just make it the lowest common denominator is like an insult. It's an insult to William Hartnell, to everyone down the line, everyone who's created Doctor Who, Russell T Davies, Stephen Moffat had some problems, but he created the Weeping Angels, who are arguably one of the best like monsters, I think, in Doctor Who. He did a lot of great episodes, right? Like it's just like when you take something like this on, to me, this is arguably worse than Star Wars. I know
it is.
Some people give us some thumbs down for that, but like literally, you're talking about something that's been around for 50 years and it's all been pretty good. Like
Yeah.
there's not been much weaknesses, right? And then you walk around
Even
and
the Fox
you literally make it like this. What's that? What'd you say, Sean?
Even the Fox one, I said.
Yeah, even the Fox.
TV movie.
The movie was
Yeah.
fine.
It was okay. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Paul McGann made it really good. Right?
He's quite good, actually.
Yeah,
and
he's
I've
really
listened to a lot of the Big Finish stuff, the audio adventures. I've listened to a lot of them. And
Yeah.
Paul McGann's great in those as well. And they've gone back and they've done that. And the way RTD brought it back, very respectful.
Yeah.
He did make it edgier.
Yeah.
He made the Doctor look a little bit less like a comic book character, more like just a guy in a leather jacket. But he introduced he kept what was amazing. He kept the Daleks the same, the Cybermen, all the classic monsters he kept the same, and he elevated the Sontarans.
Yeah.
But he brought this idea that the companions are also important, because the companions were always just with the Doctor.
Yeah.
And they were just hanging around with them. I love Ace and Leela and Sarah Jane. They're my three favorites. But Rose and Martha and Donna, the reason why these get a lot of love is because we saw their backstories, we saw their parents. They were important characters, and RTD brought that in. And there's things I don't like. He brought love. You know, the Doctor fell in love with Rose, and that's not something that I'm dying over. But it was done so well that it still brings a tear to my eye when I watch it. And I'm like, I'm not into this concept, but you've done it so well that you've drawn me in. He brought, like, Captain Jack was actually created by Moffat as well. So Moffat for Moffat to bring in the Weeping Angels, which up until that point, really, there was the classic Who monsters, and RTD didn't do anything new that was really that awesome with the monsters. He made a few cool ones here and there. But Weeping Angels was like, whoa, they got elevated to classic status, like within one story, really. And you're like, wow, this is crazy. So, and Moffat also fixed the regenerations, because everyone's like, oh God, it's gonna be, you're gonna, he didn't rewrite and say, no. He had the Time Lords grant the Doctor infinite regenerations. I'm like, that was a little bit of a wonky way to do it, but there was no other way to do it. He addressed it head on and solved it in like 2 lines of dialogue, which I actually think it's great. He also brought the Master back without explaining why. And in an interview, they asked Moffat, well, how did the Master get back? He's like, Roger Delgado, the original Master, would definitively die or be trapped somewhere at the end of every John Pertwee encounter, only to return back with no explanation. Oh, Doctor, you know me and all that. I'm like, well, this is the best ever. Yeah. Having the Master come back without an explanation is automatically amazing, because he's the Master. That's how he came back. It's like he figured something out, because the Doctor always figures something out. So the Master does too. I love this kind of stuff, and they just undermine all of it. And Sean has brought this point up. They're rewriting stuff or changing stuff, but they're not replacing it with anything interesting. It's like, oh, it was just an alien. This alien had regenerative abilities, and they stole it from her. Okay, that's the mystery of Doctor Who. It's just a random Star Trek. That, honestly, that would have been a one-off Star Trek episode. That would have been a 45-minute Next Gen episode where they meet some child who can regenerate, and there's going to be some evil alien race that wants to kidnap it. The Romulans want the child, and then the Federation saves it, and then we learn a lesson that it's evil to experiment on children, even if it helps more people, right? That's almost the insurrection dilemma, right? You move 100,000 people, but you can save millions. But it's wrong to kill one child repeatedly in order to cure give everybody regenerations for life. It's wrong to do that. That would have been your moral episode for the week. Riker would have said, Wesley, put in a course. Picard says engage, and then we move on to greener pastures. No, that's the answer to Doctor Who, a random one-off Next Generation style episode, and that's the answer to who the Doctor is.
It's bad. It's bad. And like, I don't like calling the companions friends. I don't see the point of that. They've inserted, like, we have the black character with the weird disease that no one seems to know about. We have the older white guy who's just constantly picked on and that. And then we have the East Indian younger woman.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. And it's like, I want to like them. Yaz has no character. She
I
is an
know.
afterthought. And this is why, like, you know, like, unfortunately, it seems that they've created these three characters, and the best developed of the friends is the white guy.
I know. They
It's
didn't.
ridiculous.
You know, okay, here's a, we got to tell, we're at our 10-minute point. This went fast. Okay, Yaz is a police officer.
Mhm.
When is she going to use police detective procedure? And in that gun episode where they're firing guns, wouldn't Yaz be like, doctor, I know you don't like guns because of your PSA announcement you just made, but guns help me in the field and protect me and save my life when I'm trying to uphold the law, protect the innocent, like the prime directives of RoboCop. It's like, it's like, why wouldn't Yaz speak up and say, you know what, doctor, I know we shouldn't use guns, but I'm a police officer and it's standard issue for me and I use it to protect myself and to protect the public. Like, wouldn't Yaz say that? But you have to be smart enough to write that. And right? And they don't understand the character. They've created Ryan. All of the actors are good. They've cast good people. I like Yaz, actually. Yeah. I like the look of her. I like the feel of that character. Yeah. But she's useless. She doesn't do anything. She's just there and it's like, okay. And you're like, well, say it, like, write her to do something. They're going to make her better, I guess, in the next, because she's the only one returning. The other two aren't returning. Ryan and Ryan lost his mom. So Ryan had that storyline, which was completely abandoned after, like, they went back to it a couple of times and then that's it for Ryan. And now he's the diseased guy. Literally, I feel bad that that's what that is.
Yeah.
They think that that's heightening or that's like saying, you know, it's bringing awareness to people with this disease. It's not, because I don't remember what it is. It doesn't really play a part in anything. And he's not a character for me to love enough. If you make Captain Jack Harkness a character that I love so much, when you put him in Torchwood and you give him a boyfriend and they're in a gay relationship, I can accept that and I can like that because I like the Captain Jack character and I want him to be happy. When Yonto dies in Torchwood, spoilers if you haven't watched Torchwood, that's a super sad moment because you're like, oh no, this guy died and they were so close. It's like, if you just say, oh, here, they're close. See, we're doing a gay relationship. See, it's like, no, that's not enough. I have to care about the characters in the relationship, just like a straight relationship. There's a lot of straight relationships that I don't care about. I want Han and Leia to get together because I want Han and Leia to get together. I like them both. It's not because they just should get together because the script says we must have two characters get together.
So this new Doctor has been 2 seasons, right?
Yes.
Are there more seasons planned for this Doctor, or do you know, or no?
Yes. So they're doing another one.
Well, sorry, what about the creative team? Is it the same creative team?
Chris Chibnall.
Oh, okay.
He's brutal. He's written Broadchurch, and their episode. He wrote an episode for Doctor Who as well, which was like one of the downer points. But like his I think his dramatic writing is much better. He should stick to that. A drama writer like a Downton Abbey or whatever, Broadchurch is what that's fine. That's a heavy drama television series. That's a crime drama about rape in the 3rd season, about like a little boy is killed in the 1st season by an older man who loves him. It's very weird. And that's handled very well in the 1st season. The 2nd season wasn't as good. The 3rd season was good again. It was about rape and everything. That was all very, very well handled. And there's a lot of layers in Broadchurch, which is surprising because you're not seeing any of it in Doctor Who. You're literally getting PSA announcements. I swear to you, it's PSA announcements almost every time. There's the Lone Cyberman stuff was very good. I was starting to believe, thinking, okay, maybe we're getting somewhere, but nope. And then he ruined it with explaining that, why would you even bother doing it? I don't even get why you would do it.
Well, I can tell you the IMDb ratings on these seasons are crap.
Yep.
More people tuned into the Antique Roadshow than Doctor Who finale.
Oh, it's
like,
wow.
You're literally going to do what has not been done in like 50 years. You're actually going to get Doctor Who canceled. Keep on this road.
Well, no, it was canceled in 89. It was canceled
with Sylvester, yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing is, though, is that, like, this has been like the fans are very like pissed off. Like,
Yeah.
And it's not just that we got 4 minutes. It's not just that. It's like the creators are trying to pull this tactic where they're saying, well, you guys can't accept change. And they keep trying to heap this saying, oh, you guys don't want a female doctor. Stop throwing this on Jodie Whittaker's back.
Mm-hmm.
I see that they didn't even trust Jodie. You know why? Because they brought Ruth in.
Yeah.
Ruth is, I don't know the actress's name. She's a black actress. She plays one of the doctors. She was outstanding.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
She
Yeah,
looked
awesome.
very cool. Her outfit was so cool. And she was like, I'm the doctor. And you're like, whoa. Like, and then I'm like, you don't even trust Jodie enough to be the first female doctor.
Yeah.
Because they kept promoting that this is the first female doctor, but it's not the first female doctor. You undid that by having Ruth, and then you undid that by having the timeless child be a female. And so you like, she's not the first female doctor. So I don't get, they're not even keeping in with their own, like they're pushing their agenda, first female doctor, but then you went against your own agenda. I don't get it.
Well, that goes back to what I said. The best developed companion is the white guy. Right? Like, that's the problem, right?
Yeah.
They're like, oh, we got these people, but if you don't give them anything to do, if you don't make them memorable, if you don't make them special, then what's the point? Like, I don't get it. Like, it's just it's an insult to them.
It's an insult to them.
It's an insult to them.
I know.
This is like affirmative action. I'm hiring you because you are a minority. Okay, how do you think that makes me feel?
Yeah, and there's no character pin to it. This just sounds very like ill-conceived and not well written. And that's the biggest crime. Like, I'm fine with a female doctor.
For sure.
Write a great character. I'm cool with that. But if you're not going to have stories that are thought-provoking and clever and present things in different ways we haven't seen before, I don't care. So, yeah.
We got 2
Hopefully
minutes.
there'll be a different creative team. Hopefully this won't herald the end of this new iteration of Doctor Who. Doctor Who's bigger now than it's ever been. It's true. Because, I mean, Doctor Who was huge, like, up till 89, and then it got canceled. Then there was the Dark Times, and then there was the new Doctor Who, and the new Doctor Who is big among Americans, which is huge,
went up.
you know. And it used to be, when you talk about science fiction franchises, there was Star Trek versus Star Wars, and now I see Doctor Who as part of the big three, which was never really in the equation in the 90s, right? You know.
And Doctor Who wasn't really ruined until now, and female doctor, I'm okay with it. I need a good character. I like Jodie the actress. I've seen her in other things. So I'm good with her. I like her Sonic. I like her outfit. She's got the rainbow thing across the chest, whatever. Right there, that tells you that they're trying to, like, but it was just there. It wasn't like, she was like, look how cool my shirt is. Like, she didn't do something like that. So that was okay. You had the rainbow thing just on the side, fine.
Yeah.
She almost, it seems like she almost would have went, look at my shirt, it's a rainbow. This symbolizes, you know, it's like,
it could have been a cool like thing that distinguished her or something like that. Like this is this doctor. It's like a good merchandising thing.
And that's fine. So, but they didn't do it. They just went for the lowest common denominator, as Steve said. We got like less than a minute left. All right, guys, I think we got to wrap it up. We covered it all. Sorry, I talked too much, but I'm like a super Doctor Who fan. All right, guys. Well, that's it. That's it for today. And thanks so much for watching. Until next time.